Ladies and gentlemen, hey, hi, how you doing? Welcome back to the channel. Thank you so much for stopping by. We've seen various different meta updates drop over the past couple of weeks, including the major season 3 one, and within that, some of the top TTK options, the best time to kill options in the game, have changed around a little bit. And honestly, there's a handful of pretty surprising picks now if you're purely going for the best time to kill. Now that said, keep in mind, this doesn't always mean it's the #1 gun in the game just because it does have the fastest TTK. A lot of these guns do have certain drawbacks that balance them out nicely, but if you're purely focused and simply focused on that time to kill stat alone, these 5 options are some of the best in the game. And of course, we're breaking them all down here today, starting first with the RAPP H LMG from MW2. Keep in mind, all the information, all the data and stats here are coming from True Game Data, and I'll have a link to his site down in the description below. Shout out to Tony as always. But we've talked about the RAPP a lot. Even prior to season 3, this was a top TTK choice, and it actually got better here with season 3. Right now, at about 57 meters, really good long range distance there, and an 893 millisecond TTK, which is better than every other LMG in the category and several other long range weapons at the same time. It's really slow, like I gotta say. The mobility here sucks, the reload sucks, the ADS sucks, but it's easy to use, super simple control, decent velocity, and obviously its power is insane. So here I am going for the cast sprite compensator. Makes this recoil pattern a lot more predictable by attacking the horizontal control and giving us some better firing aim stability. Bruin heavy support, pretty standard mainstay for mid to long range guns, better horizontal control and gun kick, but also better firing aim stability and idle sway again, especially on an MW2 gun, very important to make it easy to use. I do go for the high grain rounds as well. They extend out that velocity and that range, getting up 966 velo. That's great for any long range engagement there. That's totally sufficient for that. Pretty fast fire rate means you're going to reload a lot. I prefer to reload less because it's so slow, so I just go for the basic 100 round extended mag, and then also the 2.5 times eagle eye optic on here. And quite frankly, it works out nicely because all the barrels on this gun suck because they kill your idle sway, so do the stocks, and so do the rear grips. So you're pretty much forced into your specific set of attachments here, and it's a setup that works really well. Next up, we've actually got the TAQ-V, another MW2 gun, but it's super important to note the TAQ-V's best TTK actually comes when you throw this into single fire or semi-auto mode. So much higher skill gap weapon because it does require you to spam the trigger fast and maintain accuracy on a target, which not every player can do. But if you can do it well and you can do it consistently at about 40 meters, prime sort of mid-range heading into the long range, an 842 millisecond TTK, also significantly better than the vast majority of options in that specific area. Again though, the high skill gap might deter some players, but for a general good semi-auto setup here, I am going to start with the Spirit Fire suppressor. If you wanted to jump up to a compensator like Cassis Break or some other options here, you could do that as well, but I prefer getting the better range, the better velo here. It also adds in some control too, and of course it's keeping you off the radar, which is always nice to see. Ruin heavy support here is important for a couple of reasons. Because we're in semi-auto, firing aim stability and idle sway mean the recentering is better. It's going to be more consistent as you're spamming it, but then also as you are spamming it, the recoil becomes worse and worse the faster you can shoot it, so getting in better control is obviously going to be clutch at the same time. I don't want to have to worry about ammo, so I just simply upgrade to the 50 round extended mag there. Pretty basic. Same deal with the 2.5 times eagle eye optic. If there is a different scope that you prefer more, always run what you are the most comfortable with there. And then lastly, I actually go for the brute stock because this is going to help out with idle sway. A lot of other attachments are going to hurt that, but then also some decent control. It's nothing too crazy, but it's something, and it will ultimately make the gun a bit easier to use over those mid to long range engagements. But yeah, kind of a surprise pick here, but the TAQ-V semi-auto is pretty nasty if you're a good semi-auto player. Quick reminder, by the way, as we are going through all the loadouts and weapons here today, if you're new to the channel, this is your one-stop shop for everything you need to know about Call of Duty, whether it is full-on loadouts and meta breakdowns, the latest news and updates and patch notes. I got you covered on a daily basis, so feel free to hit that subscribe button. And if you enjoy this video, do me a favor and drop a like on it. It does really help the channel grow, and it's always really appreciated. Now, we've obviously talked about the Core 45 a bit over the past couple of weeks. Then even before season 3, this was a really good TTK option, but using the Core 45 with the conversion kit that gives it a binary trigger means you could potentially, in theory, have a crazy TTK as well. It's 17 meters, so prime close range, a 629 millisecond TTK, which is better than SMG SMGs, better than other close range options. Again, it's a little bit more difficult to use. It requires you to spam the trigger and stay on target, and also spam that trigger at a really fast rate of fire consistently, which again, not everyone can do. But if you can get those little like bursts of doing that, you're going to be able to knock players crazy quick up close, right? So most important part of this setup is going to be this conversion kit that gives you basically a 2-round burst in that binary trigger. Might as well go for the max extended mag here with that 40-round drum, so we're rocking that. I like the sonic suppressor here, does extend that better damage range out a little bit more. Same deal with the velocity if you're in some of the mid range there, just makes it a tad bit more reliable, and it again keeps you off the radar. I find myself to be way better with this gun when I've got an optic on here. The iron sights are all right, but the faster you're spamming, the more noisy it's going to get, so I like using an elo sight, keeps me accurate. And then lastly, the dynamic precision stock, just for some better control across the board, makes it a lot easier to use as you are spamming it. So again, slightly higher difficulty weapon, but man, does it fry. Now another crazy good battle rifle when switched into semi-auto is actually the Sidewinder, and for what it's worth, the Sidewinder in full auto also pretty competitive. They buffed it again with season 3, so that's a pretty decent option in and of itself. But if you want the max TTK, the semi-auto Sidewinder goes nuts. Here at 41 meters, again sort of prime mid-range, we're looking at an 858 millisecond TTK, super competitive, capable of absolutely ripping through anyone at that distance, and they're gonna have no idea what just happened. They're gonna look at the kill cam and be like, wait a minute, the Sidewinder's doing that? Yes, the Sidewinder is doing that. So again, here I do have Spirit Fire Suppressor, range velocity control keeping me off the minimap. Ruin heavy support, again, just ultra important because of a semi-auto gun needing that better firing aim stability, needing that better aiming sway to be more reliable as you are spamming, plus the control benefits are always nice to see. We got the Predator Precision Barrel for the better range, velocity control, and some even better idle sway on there as well. The only downside here is that 30 rounds is your max. Now the fire rate is not crazy when you're in semi-auto, so 30 rounds will be sufficient. It's just not 45 or 50, so objectively it's a little bit more concerning, but it gets the job done. Then lastly, surprise, surprise, we've got the 2.5 times Eagle Eye on here yet again. But yeah, don't sleep on the Sidewinder. It will absolutely dominate in the right hands. Hey everyone, briefly wanted to shout out my friends over at Gamer Advantage. Of course, Gamer Advantage is no stranger here on the channel. I'm rocking my Horizon frames in every single face cam video here on the channel because truly they are game changers. I sleep better because of them. My eye strain's not as bad when I'm wearing them, and honestly, even on days where I'm not just gaming, I'm editing, I'm doing other side work, when I'm looking at screens for long periods of time, these are by far the most important part of my day-to-day setup. So if you are looking at screens all day long, you're doing work, you're doing school, you're gaming, do yourself a favor, pick up a pair of Gamer Advantage glasses. They got a little bit of something for everyone. Plenty of different frame options in different colorways. They also offer support for any type of prescription lenses you may need. And if you throw in code Immortal at checkout, you'll get a pretty nice discount. Link for that will be down in the description below. And then lastly here, we've actually got the Holger 556 with the backsaw conversion kit, which makes it super aggressive and shoot almost in like a flying V formation. So when you're close range, it's just a shot on the right, a shot on the left. The further you get out though, the more that the bullets start to stray away, and then it becomes super inaccurate and unusable. But in the close range, I would say maybe with a cap of like 20, maybe 30 meters max, it's actually kind of crazy. For instance, at 17 meters, a 665 millisecond TTK. Crazy good, but you have to be center mass, otherwise one of those random bullets going off to the side might miss over a shoulder or might miss off of, a hip or a rib there, and it's going to cause that TTK to be slower. But if you can be accurate with this thing and center your aim a lot, it can actually knock players like none other. So backsaw kit, obviously super important here. We got the intruder rear grip, actually ends up speeding this up even more, giving us a faster ADS and a better strafe speed on there. We've got the assault stock, which is just control based there. Obviously we want to be as accurate as we can be. I like the glassless optic in this case, clean blue dot, but also giving us some better firing aim stability. Then I go for the hook box laser, just for the better sprint to fire here. Also some hip fire if you're sort of transitioning in there. You can mess around with various other different lasers though, like the Razor Hawk would also be very good for better ADS and sprint to fire. That'd be a viable choice. So just depends on how you play around the close range. If you're always pre-aiming and ADSing, if you transition between hip fire and ADS a lot. What's crazy though is that that's pretty much what you're limited to with attachments. No barrel, no muzzle, no underbarrel, no mag with the backsaw kit on here. You could use ammo, but I don't find that to be super important here. So relatively limited on your attachments. Definitely a very gimmicky gun, but objectively its TTK is absolutely gross if you're able to consistently land those shots in the close range. So that being said, those are 5 of the best time to kill options in the game right now. that's gonna wrap things up. If you enjoyed the video, do me a favor and drop a like on it. And if you're new here, be sure to hit that subscribe button on your way out. But once again, thank you so much for tuning in. And until next time, take it easy, have an awesome rest of your day, and I'll catch you later. Peace out.